Okay, let's finish this toaster. The bottom part is actually sealed. And these faces I'm selecting right now, that's kind of like the bottom element. So we have to build actually the missing geometry. Plus, this surface actually is pretty wide. Now I recorded everything the way how I would start exploring a design. So to show you how you can go forward and backwards and manipulate and work with the timeline. So you could rearrange your design steps. Because very often when you start modeling, you don't necessarily 100% know how to really finish everything or how to do everything. Okay, so with that said, let's see how we can do this. And actually, where is this opening? So is that the opening? Yeah. So that actually right now, I don't need anymore. So this part I will delete. Very nice. See again, that's the awesomeness of the timeline. And the bottom part I would like to separate, and then we have to put in that filled surface, and then we will cut actually this missing open arc again. Okay, good. So first we have to separate the bottom. I will create a construction plane from the ground up till, oh, let's say 30 millimeters. Then we will say split body. This body split by that construction plane. Okay. All these elements I can hide. And I have now to put this down a little bit. Let's say minus 12. Let's see, how far does it go down? Yeah, this is good. Very nice. And I will create a sketch there. And then I will say, no, I will not create a sketch. Never mind. Sorry. So let's delete this. I just figured out a different way. What I want to do is where I created this extra construction plane, I want to slice all these surfaces, then get rid of them, and then fill everything. So step one, split face. U, 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 split by this plane. Very good. So there you see we have this lower element. And these now I would like to remove. So we go to patch, unstitch, chain select off, and select the correct faces. And to make things cleaner, I will also select this bottom face. Click OK. All those I delete, remove. Very good. Because now I can go with the patch tool, fill this, and right click, fill this, and then stitch, stitch, and stitch all this stuff together. There we are. Very good. Because now I have kind of like a nicer, thicker material. Let's turn this on. There you see it. Now this is obviously quite thick, not as much really as it needs to be. So this I would like to have a little offset, and then we extrude this inwards a little bit. So to do the offset, we can create a sketch, press P, and project this face in it. There. Then we press O to offset this whole thing to the center. Let's say 15. There. Okay. And then we can go ahead and extrude this upwards. So I don't want to cut through. In my case, I will try to cut as much so it is a little bit above the arc. You see? So the main reason why I did that is now if I select this and cut this out and I go symmetrical, there you see we created actually this cut. Really nice. If I turn this off, there you see it. Pretty good. So maybe this is no, it's pretty thick there too. It's still probably built differently. In my case here, this is solid. In the real object, it is actually hollow. Okay, this is something engineering will do for us. So all we need to do is just build something like this, and then they can take it from there. So this is good. These lines, however, are kind of sharp. So this edge, I will build it by 0.5 millimeter. And then I will fill it here, this one by 0.5 millimeter too. So we have a nice, sweet parting line. These edges are kind of terrible. So repeat fillet, did that with the right mouse button, or you press F or use the fillet command. 20, 40, 80. And let's go 80. That looks good. And those maybe we do 5 millimeters. 10, 5. 2.5. Oh. So that looks already a lot more respectable. Really nice. How do we now finish the rest? Here we can say, before we continue, this is maybe bottom thickness, running out of names. And yeah, we want to create the telstra element. Let's see, is that stuff actually arc2? Yes, it is arc2. Okay, good. So how do we create actually what goes in there? So that element here in this opening, we can really heavily simplify. So all this I hide. I need this part. Toaster opening, I need that one. Okay, so this first forward, let's say we extrude down till I don't know, maybe till there. Okay, whatever. And then we split this by this arc so that this top element we can retire. And now we have to create the openings for the slots. To do the openings, I will actually go back to edit the sketch and take a look at what I have here. And now I have to recreate the rectangles for these openings. So let's see, can't we actually start this by offsetting? No, offsetting just those. Can we select multiple? No, we cannot. Okay, naughty. Let's say in my case it's 8, 10. Yeah, let's say 10. Okay. So offset here 10. Correct direction, right click, and 10. Right click, repeat, 10 there. So at least I know I have the corner points, which means line and line. So now I can go over to there, down, and fill the line. Woo, there. This should be vertical. This should be horizontal. There are some perpendicular constraints. I will just throw those out. And out. At Costco, they say, throw it out. So vertical, vertical. Actually, yeah, this one I don't need. So what's this radius? That is 10, as you can see. So if I click D, add in the radius, press D, then it says, wow, we can't do this. But we can create a driven dimension. See, this is in brackets and also gray, which means it's just a readout. We can't really double click and manipulate it. But that's fine. So there. I'm going to make all these lines correct. Here, delete this one. So now bring this over and there. These corners now we have to all trim. Sorry, not trim. Fill it with a radius of 10. There. Right click. 10. Right click. 10. Right click. 10. So that looks symmetrical. What about the width? That's not. This line here I push over to there. All I need to do is now this and this line, they should be equal. See, that made this other one as wide. Very good. There we are. So with this, create it. Stop sketch, and then where's my object? There. We have all these objects again. Fusion rebuilt my design, and I can pull this one down. I'm just eyeballing the depth. There we have that insert. Pretty cool. Okay, let me see. No. Because these parts get very hot. So these metal parts, they should not be close to the plastic. We want to have some good fillets and distances. Which means this one, actually we fill it pretty big. Let's say 7. And then just touched my toaster. Here we say 2. Yeah, okay. Chung, 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 chung. Everything is better with sound effects. And yeah, I would say there is actually our not too bad looking toaster. You see? Ta-da! That looks pretty good. Let's maybe give this some materials. So I press A and paint, not paint. Ooh, yes, paint. Let's go to Metal Flakes. Let's make this nice and funky. So we will give this one a nice red, so that stuff looks good. Maybe a white flake here, oh, white flake and a white flake. These elements we make red, so it stands out. There, very good. And then we have to create texture. This, that should be brushed stuff. So we can go to metal, steel cast, rough, satin. Do we have any brushed stuff? Let's go to stainless, brushed. Yeah, maybe this, but to the body. Ugh, they don't do the orientation correctly, so nope. Let's do then satin. Now this looks a little bit more like KitchenAid compared to the way how they designed it. It's really interesting when you're new to industrial design and 3D modeling and you start actually rebuilding existing objects. You will see there's so many terrible design decisions they took. And there we are. It doesn't look too bad. For the adjustment of the grain, not the grain, the sparkle stuff, you can in render mode here go to appearance, double click, and then also the scale 40. Or 30. Yeah, 40 looks better. Already seeing some issues. Let's then do 40 here too. So the sparkle stuff is better. Again, let's go to setup and change the position. So it's coming more. Oh, look at that. And we get some nice highlight on top. Okay. Start the basic rendering. Nice. Let's set this to white, not that stupid gray. Okay, now we're all good. We could just fire up the cloud rendering. 1 credit, final quality, render. And that it is for the toaster. The power cable I will do in another video. And my baby girl is asking for dinner because it's, whoops, quite late.